I'm Scott Jordan. I'm the lead level designer here at Bosky, working on Project BlueStreak. My daily responsibilities include working with all of the departments to make sure that every aspect of the game is integrated into the level design. We want to make sure that we're not working in a vacuum and that everything comes together as a cohesive game. And I think Unreal 4 is great at doing that. There's a variety of tools that help us quickly speed through prototyping phases without having to worry about throwing away work. And I think it's great at that. This is the best engine I've used for prototyping so far. The blueprint system is basically programming. So if you have some rudimentary programming knowledge but don't necessarily know the syntax for everything, you can take that logic and put together a game mode in a day or two. And that's really great for us in this early stage where we're throwing out stuff that we're trying after the first time. We're like, okay, this just isn't working, let's start over. The pipeline for importing art is also great too. If you're just kind of a mediocre artist, you can make a lot of great temp assets to instance around the level and sort of quickly block something out. Like I had blocked out a level in about a day and a half using a cube and I think another cube that had a couple of cuts in it so I could make a different shape. But being able to scale and stretch and just shove things around and quickly swap materials, you can prototype a level really quickly. And it's also really easy to make changes. I did some things that you're not supposed to do as a level designer in other engines where I built the space and we tested it and it ended up being too large. So I took the entire level and I just scaled it down by 30% all at once. And that worked, and that took me about 10 minutes to just kind of fix a couple things. If I tried to do that in any other engine, I think the whole thing would explode and it wouldn't work.
Hey, I'm Tramell art director here at Bosky Productions. Unreal 4 is pretty much a godsend for us. I mean, we've been able to get the game up and running as really fast, and start getting iterations on it. And that's because of the ease of use and the large community that Unreal 4 actually has. So any questions that we have about the engine and all the tools and things like that, or can be answered on the forums or answered by the people at Epic in order to build our product. As far as being an artist, it's great because pretty much WYSIWYG is what you put into it is what you get out of it. Because of the tools are so easy to use. You just make a model, make textures, you put it in the game, you can see it, pretty much lickety-split. And I said lickety-split. Just recently we released a teaser at PAX that showed a little bit of what we're doing on our game, codenamed BlueStreak. But using Unreal made that possible. A lot of things, we have a lot of really cool stuff. The PBR, physically based rendering in Unreal 4 allowed us to make some more realistic looking environments, and that's what we're going for here at Bosky. So, just using that engine and using it to the best of its ability allowed us to kind of put on the screen exactly what we're trying to give the customer. So, obviously there's it's just a teaser and there's a lot of work to do on the back end, but right now I think it's getting to the point where we actually we set a visual bar, and that's all possible due to Unreal 4.
Matt Fischman here, gameplay programmer at Bosky. As a gameplay programmer, one of the most important things I do is called prototyping. And during the first 6 months to a year of development, we call that pre-production. We tend to do a lot of rapid prototyping of ideas to try to get them into the game as fast as possible. The idea is that the more prototypes you do, the more iterations you do, the more ideas you can try out in the game, and the better the game ends up being. And so one of the key factors in iterating quickly that Unreal Engine provides is called hot reload. What that means is while the engine is running, the editor is up, it's loaded, I can go into Visual Studio here, I can type a bunch of code or whatever, make my changes, and then go back here, and then there's this like nifty compile button right at the top, and you click that, and it will load your changes into the game automatically, and without having to pause your work really rapidly, you can test those changes out in the game, find out if it's cool, find out if it's not cool, and go from there. This feature specifically is really good. A lot of tech I've worked with in the past doesn't even have this at all, and so you have to rebuild the editor entirely for every change you make. It can take 15 minutes, 20 minutes to get even a simple code change tested out. With this, it's 30 seconds. And that's a huge difference because you can iterate 10, 15, 20 times a day, 30 times a day as fast as you can work, you can get ideas into the game, whereas with older technology or stuff like that, it can be 1 or 2 times a day, and it just slows development way down.